Hello. Um, yeah, it's definitely going for sure. For sure, yes, it's definitely going. Um, I just wanted to make a video, um, I guess kind of like just yapping about how I'm feeling. And please ignore my hair and like everything that's going on with it. It's a mess right now. And it's not doing very well. It's not doing very well. I just got it done a couple days ago, and it's um, going every which way. I cannot control it, and I'm not gonna try, honestly. Okay, so it's my birthday's tomorrow, and I'm not excited about it, because I haven't been excited about anything really for a really long time, and I'm just trying to like get through the days and not like feel miserable and feel like shit and dookie. Um, and it's been a challenge, really. It's been a struggle, and it kind of just seems like everything is like falling apart and like um just not going well. Um, and I really feel like I'm like making no progress towards like my goals or just like in general, and I really feel like burnt out completely just from like everything, not just like school burnout, like life burnout. And I mean, it literally has not even been the most like challenging things that I've been up against, I guess, like, but I've just been like exhausted with like everything, and I'm really trying to like hype myself up, like get the motivation to do things. And I have done some things, but when you like need a change, but you don't have the motivation or the energy to make that change. That's exactly how I feel. And so it's just been a lot of like wanting a different life for myself and not being able to make progress on that or like really do anything substantial about that. And so it's just been a lot of me just like existing in this state of like feeling shitty and just like not really caring about anything, which I know are like symptoms of depression. Like I have depression, I've been like clinically diagnosed with it. So that's pretty fun. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lot of me really trying to stay optimistic, even though I'm like not optimistic about anything. So that's pretty cool. um, but yeah, it's been like a kind of just like a uphill battle for a while, and I feel really, yeah, just like I said before, like really burnt out. Do you know what I mean? And I'm still trying because like that's the kind of the only option I have is just to keep trying and keep hoping that things work out and seeing where things go and hoping that like I have the knowledge that like it won't be this way forever, even though it really does feel like it. I'm trying to like remind myself that like yeah, like things do get better. It's been pretty difficult, I'm not even gonna lie. It's been pretty difficult, and it just seems like I'm always kind of stuck in that dark place, and I feel like I've been stuck in that dark place for like a decade. So it really just feels like, okay, like, you know, I'm definitely not like consistently doing the work that I need to do to get better. And I feel like we don't talk about it that much of like, okay, here's the problem's depression, okay, therapy and lifestyle changes, and then boom, you get better. And it's like, that's not necessarily the truth. Like, I've been to therapy, but I haven't done it for like years. I haven't been doing it for like years consistently. I've been doing it like off and on, I guess. And of course, you don't see substantial progress that way because you're doing it off and on. But it's been really hard to stick to it because I've been like so bad at scheduling. I've been so bad at being consistent, feeling like I have the right fit of like a therapist, and I've been just like switching to different therapists and all that stuff, and I've tried to stick with therapists for a longer period of time, and I've just like eventually felt like I was not helping, and so I came to the conclusion that like therapy wasn't for me, which I don't think I've been trying it even long enough to be like, yeah, therapy's not for me. So it's definitely something, but I feel like I'm just not in the place to talk about my feelings just yet. I'm kind of in the place to just feel my feelings. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. But I feel like my lows have been getting like lower gradually throughout the years, and kind of like not like dwell on that and not focus on that and just fight my way through it. But it's been pretty difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's been pretty difficult. And so, yeah, tomorrow's my birthday. And I remember I used to be so excited about my birthday. Like even when I was like going through stuff and nothing was perfect, I still was like excited about the possibility of just being able to have a day where it's like kind of can take like a small reprieve from the things in your life, and people are more willing to like hang out and do something fun with you because it's your birthday and it's like a celebratory thing, you know. And I think I also get like really excited about my birthday because those are the few times where I would like be able to hang out with my parents and not have it feel like a rushed thing, or like there's always something like weighing on them, whether it's like work and all that stuff, and they're busy or things like that. And we've had those moments before where it's like we've hung out, we've gone places and it's been nice, but there's always a like sense of me knowing that like, okay, like this is kind of one of the moments that's like an outlier to like the rest of the year, which just be like, of course my parents being really busy and having their work to do and things like that. And like I've had a whole kind of revelation recently where it's like understanding that like my parents have not really been there in the ways that I need them to be. And I'm kind of like coming to that process of just like mourning the parents that I could have had, and the relationship with my parents that I could have had. And it's not fully over yet. Like I still live with my parents and things like that, but it's just been really difficult to kind of like understand that like there were definitely moments in my life, many moments where they needed to like be parents in a more conventional way, and kind of realize that like there's bigger issues going on with like their kid, and like it's worth just like genuinely asking me like what's going on in my life, and like how things are going. It's always felt like there's been this barrier of like emotional connection. I think also something that's not talked about a lot is like your parents can like provide for you in different ways, but if they're not there emotionally, it just like leaves a huge gap where you're left to feel like you're kind of not like really wanted. That's definitely something I'm trying to grapple with now that I'm older, is like, I don't know, as a kid you're so like optimistic and you're like, oh, like I just gotta keep trying and eventually I'll get the thing that I'm missing from them. And the older I get, the more I realize like that's not gonna happen. And so it's been like me trying to like grapple with that, especially as I get older and have like more decisions to make in my life. And I'm at this kind of like weird impasse where it's just like my old way of thinking and my old way of being versus my new way of thinking and being. And I think just as I'm saying that, I'm realizing that I'm going through like a transition period. Like even if I'm not necessarily moving out or going from one big thing to another, it's still a transitional period of me kind of growing and realizing the like major flaws in my process of like being raised by my parents. And so it's been a lot of like mourning that, I guess, and feeling like really shit about that, and really feeling conflicted in knowing that like my parents aren't going to change soon. Like they're not going to change, and I can't wait for them to change, and I can't wait for them to give me something that they haven't given me for like my entire life, which is like real emotional care. It's such a strange process to mourn your parents' love while you're still with them and while they're still alive and while you're still in their lives and while you're still there. And it's really this really strange dichotomy. It sucks to be like outwardly denied that emotional support. Like I've had moments where my parents have been like, we can't support you emotionally, you know, and they've not said that outwardly, but they've said that through basically like different ways of being like, we're busy, like we have things to do. So it's been a lot of me trying to figure out and navigate my emotions on my own, and I never had that kind of like real sense that I was sharing my emotions and they were being like listened to and cared about. And it was more of just like a, I don't know, like a coexisting relationship. Like I coexisted with my parents. I'm coexisting with my parents, and that's kind of the extent of the relationship. And so I've really been trying to like work through that and realize that like no matter how much I want others to change and have conversations with others and try to get them to see my perspective, like if they don't want to change and they don't believe that like there's anything to be fixed or changed, or they think like everything's going fine, then like the change is not gonna happen. And I've slowly come to the realization as well that like if I listen to everything that my parents say and do the things exactly how they want me to do and live my life exactly according to them, my life's gonna be miserable. It honestly kind of is. And I think that's where a lot of my issues came from, is really trying to please other people, and especially my parents. And I don't know, I think their ideal kid would be one who's like completely emotionally developed away from them and doesn't need that emotional support and that emotional encouragement, and is completely independent and self-sufficient from like get-go. They were in their own worlds and their own thing, and it was a lot of me on my own and me trying to sort out all my emotions, all the feelings I was having, all the struggles I was going through at school, just on my own, and not really having anybody to confide in, and feeling like I was completely alone. And that's when my depression started. So, you know, there's obviously like a connection to that, a link to that. I've recently been like trying to communicate these things to them. I mean, I've tried to do it before in the past, and now I'm trying again. And that's when I am discovering that, like, if people don't want to change, they're not gonna change. No matter how much you try, if they don't want to change, it's not gonna happen. So that's been like a hard kind of thing to notice, I guess, and grapple with, and it's left me feeling like really on my own. I've had these role models who basically showed me that, like, it doesn't matter how you're feeling as long as you're doing what we want you to do. It doesn't really matter how you feel about it. So then I've got it in my head that, like, there's no point in telling people how I feel, and I'm trying to undo that work, but it's really hard to do without a therapist. So it all comes back to, like, getting professional help and talking to somebody. I've just felt like I'm about to turn 22, and I feel like it's just been so long since I've, like, actually been, like, happy and joyful and optimistic about things. With my birthday coming up, it really has me thinking, like, how can I change, like, what things in my life can I change to feel that way, and what will get me closer to feeling happy and positive, you know what I mean? And it's obviously not, like, happy and positive all the time, like, that's unrealistic, but it's just not always feel down and always feel like I'm struggling. It's honestly, like, people give this advice all the time, but it really is just one day at a time of trying your best, whatever your best looks like on that day. And you know, like, the little things, even just, like, getting out of bed in the morning, and at least, like, trying, I think definitely has merit to it. This was kind of a downer, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a downer. Hopefully I'll be making more things that are, like, me slowly, like, building the skills to feel better. Actually, I have good news. I made a little art piece recently, which I can show. This little thing. It's just kind of really abstract. Like, even for me, it's pretty abstract. But I just, like, kind of got into a flow state of, like, making colorful things. Making more 3D-ish things. That also kind of, like, play with being flat as well. And I was really inspired by a lot of, like, Pinterest, like, altars, and how they've kind of, like, morphed. Like, I've seen a lot of people's take on, like, altars and kind of, like, a really, really abstract thing of just, like, a border and kind of content in the middle. So I was really fascinated with that, and I started to kind of make my own take on that abstracted, like, a really far-reaching altar. Yeah. And so I use, like, paint and, like, nail polish, like, clear nail polish, and string, and like, paint markers, and, like, little charms to, like, give it some texture and some 3D. And I really like it, because it's, like, different from what I would usually make. And it kind of also reminds me of, like, this clay consistency. And I've been playing a lot with trying to make cardboard, like, kind of look clayish, or, like, remind me of clay and have that kind of look. And so I kind of just want to, like, play more with that and have that, like, play around with that idea, I guess. Here's the back. The back is not so pretty, but yeah. And I tried to hang it up, and then it fell down, which was pretty cool. So probably when I get, like, actual, like, good glue, like, I will glue it to the piece that's, like, hanging up, and so that would be pretty cool. But yeah, this is it in its full glory, and all the details. And so I like it. And I think it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna hang it up. But for now, that is it. And I'll see you later.